First of all, we wanted to have a geographical representation. So we had in this case Danes and Latvians in the jury because we didn't want to have it. Yeah, we wanted to have representatives of the people who were in the room more or less majorly. And then we had the second thing was also that we wanted to have a comparatively decent gender balance, because was very important for getting a good result, and for this concrete jury it was very important to have that. So those sort of the overall things. That could be whatever you were doing, if it was jury for best handball player of the year or something like that, or this. And then of course we looked into what kind of skills people have, and you can say we had two kinds of jury members. We had people who have actual business experience, who was working with this. We had a managing director from a very big furniture factory, and we had a sort of a major investor in fashion and lifestyle things, to sort of, who could simply come on and talk to people how it is to be in the business, and could bring that to the table. And then we had facilitators from of actions. So we had one from an association or organization of incubators and how you run them, and we had one with experience in how you attract international markets. And then we had one who was actually running an incubator. So we had facilitators and business people, and depending on what you do and what the game is, those things would be. And of course there was also the practical things of who could you get to come on that particular day with the funding you had available for that. That's also that again. You have to find out the best you can get with the resource. But we were very, very happy with this jury. We did it quite a lot on the go, also because we had a comparatively short. But again there were sort of three main groups, because there's the ones which will be in any pitching competition. There's the actual idea. I mean, is it a good idea, a good project, whatever it is that you're pitching? I mean, if you're doing it like this helper tower thing that who won, it's a TED. I mean, it's a good project. That's quite obviously. And then secondly, sort of classic business things. How do they proceed? What are their plans for? What is their financing and budget plans? What are their marketing plans? And can they scale it up and down, and can they scale it up and things like that? And then the third thing, which is then the unique thing in this, is of course also this relationship to the SDG goals. How does this thing relate to an SDG sort of agenda? And so those were the three issues which the jury then tried to balance, and it was not that easy, also because we had this, because we had these different things. We had fashion people, we had furniture people, we had audiovisual people, and probably something I forgot now. So it was not, otherwise you couldn't sort of 100 say that this is good, or they have. For instance, they have more money than the others, because sometimes for all projects the same kind of funding is not necessarily the same and things. So it was a bit difficult, because there was not sort of a totally unified way of looking at it. So, but therefore the idea and the sort of overall concept of how it looked became very important. And so in that sense, when you do this thing, it becomes less technical than when you are doing a design competition or a film competition or whatever. But that's how we did it here, and I think the result was quite decent. A bit more sort of focused, more developed criteria, and then also, I think also would like to have the, maybe this, I don't know if you still do it, but also a little bit more, a little bit longer projects, time circles, so that the jury doesn't just look at the projects when they sit in front of them. Of course, that's a very important part of it, but also have time to study the material before. So therefore, for instance, so it doesn't only become a pitching competition, but actually becomes a project competition. So of course, the way you pitch and how you do this, but I mean, it's also important that people have, that they have thought a bit about sort of not so attractive things to talk about, like financing or stuff like that, which you don't have time to talk about in a pitching competition, unless you have something totally fantastic to brag about that you've got something. So there's two part things, and then also we have also, and when we look at the composition of the jury, which we also have, so that's, I think we should also next time make sure that we have somebody with more sort of only aesthetic background, so to have this sort of support of somebody who could actually provide that input in the room. I mean, I'm not saying we didn't do it last time, but it's good to have that represented by a person who has that as their input to the process.